I have been seeing, must be muskrat, beaver, loons, all up and down this side of the lake. So we may get lucky today, and we may see some wildlife pop up, which is always awesome. I love that. Everybody has their journal. So before we even really dive in, you'll be recording this question. And the goal here, take it as you will, goal, right? Let's keep that very loose and flowy, is to just write it down and let whatever's kind of coming up or not. We're not going to be like thinking about it until the very end. So this question today, if you want to write this in your journal, and there are pens over there if you don't have one, perfect. What part of myself have I struggled to accept, and how might I begin to hold it with gratitude for the way it has shaped me? I'm going to say that much slower. What part of myself have I struggled to accept, and how might I begin to hold it with gratitude for the way it has shaped me? So the whole question again is, what part of myself have I struggled to accept, and how might I begin to hold it with gratitude for the way it has shaped me? And then once you have that question written down, you can put your journal somewhere. Do you need it again? No? And how might I begin to hold it with gratitude for the way it has shaped me? Absolutely. And then we'll just place our journal somewhere, or maybe it's kind of in our peripheral as we're practicing. And this idea of challenges and gratitude and whatever comes up there, we're going to be moving through that in our practice today. So it's not super heady, right? I'm never that in my brain. We're going to dive into our body a little bit. We're going to breathe a little bit. We're going to feel really good out here in nature. And then we'll return for a few minutes at the end to kind of jot down whatever came up, whatever we're reflecting on. You can even doodle in your journal. It's okay. There's no wrong here. Let me move my pen. All right, friends, I think we should take this all the way down to our backs and come into a supported bridge posture. So for that, you may want a block. And we'll come all the way down. All the way down. And if you want, my mat kind of does that automatically. You can roll the end of your mat up just a little bit and make like a little pillow for your head here. And we're going to come into bridge posture. So we're going to start to tuck those feet a little bit closer to the hips. Take them a little wider than the hips just for some grounding support here. And then we're going to take our block on its lowest level. And we're going to lift the hips up and slide the block under our sacrum, that flat, bony part of our low spine. So down closer to your tailbone than you might think. Now from here, you may decide you'd like to kind of shimmy the shoulders a little closer together, kind of popping up the chest and then shimmying those shoulder blades a little closer. And then maybe the arms are long on the earth. Maybe the palms are facing the sky. If that doesn't feel good, you could always let those shoulder blades kind of drop and then Put your hands on the belly if you'd like some more grounding. And then we're just dropping into being in this posture, to noticing our body as it is in this moment. And if at any point during our practice you are not enjoying a posture, it doesn't feel right in your body, you want to come into stillness, you want to move, let's honor that. Let's celebrate that. You can say no at any time. You'll be totally supported here. And as we are just allowing the body to kind of drop into this supported bridge, I invite you to become very aware of the entire back body. So noticing the back of the body, the palms of the feet maybe that are at the floor, the hips that are on your support, the entire length of your spine, the shoulders, the backs of the arms, backs of the hands, and of course the head. Just starting to really notice and bring awareness to the entire back body here. Can you soften and allow some gentle relaxation to come in here? Maybe check out where you're holding. Maybe allow it to release a bit more. And then when you're ready, you may decide to start bringing some awareness to the front body, the entire body, from the tips of your toes, the fronts of the legs, front of the pelvis, flesh of the belly, the chest, shoulders, arms, palms of the hands, and then of course the entire face, the top of the head. And then what are we noticing here? I find that our front body tends to notice things a little easier than the back body. So maybe we notice the temperature, the weight of our clothing. Maybe there is some tightness or some holding on. Can we bring a little bit of softness there? And then starting to shift this awareness, let's move it into the breath. And we'll just notice the rise and fall of our belly. The gentle inhalation as the belly rises, the gentle exhalation as the navel falls back towards the spine. And just start to notice the quality of the breath. Is it soft? Is it full? Is it thready? And then starting to deepen that breath. Allowing the belly to fill, slow and equal, full inhalation, and then as you exhale, complete and slow exhalation. Several more rounds of this deep belly breathing. And then we'll return to our typical breath. Relaxing through the forehead, softening through the temples, releasing the jaw, allowing the entire face to soften, allowing the shoulders to soften, allowing the flesh of the belly to soften. And from this space of awareness and being gentle with ourselves, we'll reflect on our question, which is also the theme of our practice today. What part of myself have I struggled to accept, and how might I begin to hold it with gratitude for the way it has shaped me? No need to hold on here in your thoughts. Just let that vibration of the question kind of sink into each cell here. And then slowly bringing your awareness back into this present moment. We'll go ahead and bring the palms of the hands together, and we'll warm them up by rubbing them against each other, creating our own heat, our own energy, our own friction, kind of allowing whatever energy needs to dissipate here, right out of the palms. And once those hands are toasty warm, we'll cup them over the eyes, bathing the eyes in warmth. And then when you're ready, maybe you blink the eyes open underneath the palms, allowing light to come in between the fingers. And then releasing the hands back down to the earth or your belly. Now from here, invitation to bring the knees wide, maybe the palms of the feet touch. And we just take a couple of breaths here. This is a much different posture, even though we didn't do too much. Opening of the legs can be a pretty big stretch here, so if this is too much, you can always back off and come back to your supported bridge. Maybe you just take a couple of deep breaths right into the pelvis, the inner leg, the inner thigh, maybe even the sacrum. Good, and when you're ready, you can even use your hands to help your thighs come back up to center. And we'll walk heel-toe the feet out to the outer edge of the mat and then allow for the knees to knock together, creating a big pyramid shape, but also this closing of the pelvis. Two more deep breaths here, maybe sending the breath where you need it most. And when you're ready, you can start to walk the feet back underneath the knees. Now, option here, if you like, maybe you let one leg go long on the mat. And then maybe you walk that foot back in and let the other leg go long on the mat. And you can stay here, just noticing the body, moving very softly, gently, kindly. Or maybe if you're ready for it, you let both feet go long on the mat with that block still underneath the sacrum. Or maybe you come back to your supported bridge, or move in any way that feels right for you. And wherever you are, we'll be here for 3 rounds of gentle belly breathing. And if the legs are out long, just start to notice if you're holding on anywhere. If you can send a bit of relaxation there. And then when you're ready, we'll start to walk the legs back underneath the hips. I'm sorry, back underneath the knees. That wouldn't make any sense otherwise. And once those heels are about underneath the knees, maybe you even reach down and kind of brush the backs of the heels with the middle finger, index finger. We're going to inhale, lift the hips up ever so slightly. Go ahead and remove your block, and then on your exhale, you're going to come down vertebrae by vertebrae all the way back down to the mat. From here, invitation to bring the knees up into the chest. You can take the knees nice and wide here. Yeah. And then maybe you rock from side to side. If it feels better to bring the knees in closer, that's also an option. And then while we're here, just kind of relaxing through the hips, massaging the back body. Maybe you do some circles with those feet. Beautiful. And when you're ready, we're going to slow that down. Take the palms of the feet to the mat. Go ahead and walk the feet away from each other to the outer edge of the mat. And then we're just going to windshield wiper the knees. Now, this doesn't have to be your biggest windshield wiper motion. This can be very subtle. And then I kind of look at it like this. It's more sensation when those feet are kind of wider apart. You could also try this with the feet a little closer together for some less sensation in the hips. So you got some options here. Beautiful. Wherever you are, we're enjoying it. We're getting curious about it. We're starting to notice our body, notice the breath. Beautiful. All right, when you're ready, we're going to start to slow that down. We're going to let both legs come out long, if that feels okay, in your low back. We're only going to be here for a moment. And then we're going to let the hands come up overhead for a morning stretch. So big stretch here. Maybe you point through the toes. Maybe you point through the fingertips. Just stretching the entire body from top to bottom. Beautiful. From here, if it doesn't feel good on your low back to have those legs out long, you can bend the knees and place the palm of the foot on the ground. We're going to come in to hold on to the left shin, bringing that left knee up into the chest. And then maybe that right leg goes long, only if that feels okay in the low back. And then from here, maybe you swish from left to right. Maybe that feels really good. Maybe you do big circles here with the left ankle. Good. Maybe you start to drive that left knee in towards the underarm here. And just kind of opening it up. That might feel better than having it right on the belly. Good. When you're ready, give it a nice big hug here. A lot of gratitude for the body, how it's been of service. Good. And then let that knee go. Go ahead and let the foot come to the mat. And then we're going to go ahead and switch it out. That right knee is going to come up into the chest. Maybe you do big circles here with that foot. Yeah. Maybe you swish the knee from left to right. Keep it gentle. Keep it loving. Whatever feels right in your body. Good. Beautiful. And then maybe as you come into some stillness, you allow for that knee to fall towards the right underarm. And maybe you hug it in. A little bit of gratitude for the body here. Good. Beautiful. When you're ready, go ahead and take a nice big inhale. Exhale, release that foot back down. We're going to start with a figure 4 on the left side. So bend that right knee, take the right foot to the mat, and then that left ankle will come over that right knee. Good. And then from here, you might find that this is your sweet spot, and all you'd like to do is just press that left thigh away from you, and just kind of swish your hips from left to right. That might feel, ooh, so good. If you're looking for a little bit more sensation, you may find that you'd like to take and lift that right foot off of the mat. Maybe this is where you are. Bringing that left knee closer into the chest. And then, of course, lots of variations, holding on to, the back of the leg or that shin. Beautiful. And then that gentle rocking, if it serves you. I like it because any chatter that's going on in my mind seems to stop as soon as I start moving. And then if I close my eyes, it's like, ooh, this is interesting. What's happening in my body instead of the chirping happening in my mind. But you can play with it and see what feels right for you today. Beautiful. And then you might play with coming into stillness for a couple of breaths. Letting those feet be nice and floppy. Nothing's going to happen to your knee. Where can you find a sense of allowing the breath to move, allowing sensation to just be there without any attachment? Good. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly come out of this. If your foot's up, go ahead and bring it to the ground, and then we'll slowly take that left foot off of the right knee. Go ahead and take the feet as wide as the mat, and you can windshield wiper it out. Unless you're playing with that closer stance, then you can take that as well. I don't know about you, but my hips are already starting to feel a little looser just with those few little postures we started with today. So just drop in at any time during your practice and say, how do I feel in my body? Has anything shifted? Has anything changed? All right, when you're ready, we'll bring it back into stillness. We're going to come into figure 4. This time the right heel is on top of that left knee. And again, lots of variation here. The right side and the left side are going to feel different from each other. This right side is our driving leg. Many of us are dominant on the right side of our body. And so that right foot is the foot that touches the ground first, walks down the stairs first, touches the gas pedal, touches the brake. So let's spend some time here. If you want to rock, you can. If you want to just wiggle out the feet here. Yeah, anything that kind of feels stuck. That's what I notice. If I come into a stretch and I'm like, whoa, sensation city. If I start that gentle movement, it's like, okay, the nervous system says, you're safe, everything's good. Good, and of course, you can take any variation here. You can stay here with the palm on the floor, or, bring in to hold on to the back of the thigh, or maybe even the shin. And from here, you can wiggle out both feet. Very good. And maybe you rock. Maybe you stay in stillness. Just a couple breaths here, and then we're going to come into stillness as an option. And then when you're ready, you can slow it all down. And just take a few breaths here. finding this sense of allowing once again. Good. When you're ready, you can slowly let that foot come to the floor if it's up. And then we'll release that right foot off of that left knee. Go ahead and take the feet out nice and wide. And we're just going to swish those hips. Beautiful. All right, so everybody has their strap somewhere. Go ahead and find the strap. We're going to take a couple variations of this today. Normally we stay and play, but you might find that you want a bit more movement to this. Now almost all of us have done this together before, but we're going to take the strap and we're going to take it over the ball of our left foot, and that left foot is going to come up towards the sky. Now, a couple of options with this right leg. You may decide that this right leg is going to go long on the mat if that feels okay in your low back. If that doesn't, and you're getting a big no there, then keep that foot on the mat and keep the leg bent. And then we're going to go ahead and reach the hands up towards the top of the strap, and then gently allow the hands to come all the way down to the earth, down the strap until those elbows are at the ground. And then just check in with the jaw here, check in with the face. If you're coming into this and you're like, strap, I'm going to force my foot. Let's find a different relationship. Let's find one where it's one of support. And then once you're kind of there, you can start to swish that leg back and forth. Now, from left to right. This can be as slow or as quick as you need it this morning. And then another one that I really like is doing big circles. So here we're just kind of getting that joint warmed up, bringing some blood flow there. Good. And if you're doing circles and you want to go the opposite direction, you can. Beautiful. Okay, now option, you could stay here and just swish this leg from left to right for as long as you need. If you like and you want to come with me, we're going to bring the strap together and we're going to take the right index finger into that little V you've created with your strap. And then that left hand is going to come to the left hip flexor. So right at the top of that hip, kind of allowing and saying to the hip, hey, you're going to stay on the earth for this. And then we're going to take a nice big inhale here, find some length through the back of the leg. And then as you exhale, this foot is going to barely come through the midline. Now you can play here by flexing those toes. Woo, more sensation. Pointing the toes is less sensation. And then maybe you're just taking a couple of breaths. And for me, it feels like a big firing up of the outside of my leg, my IT band. It's not often in our daily life, our working life, that we stretch that IT band. Good. And then when you're ready, take a nice big inhale and exhale. And then inhale, bring it all the way back to center. We're going to take both straps, one in each hand like reins, and go ahead and just swish it out. Yep, that's over. It's over. We're releasing it. We're letting it go. Beautiful. Bring the strap back together. All right, this time we're going to take the left index finger and place it between that V. Our right hand's going to come to that right hip flexor. We'll inhale, find some length through the back of the leg. And then we're going to go ahead and just point the toes out at a 45-degree angle, finding this external rotation through our leg. So all we're doing is turning the ankle. And then we'll take a nice big inhale here. And then exhale, allow that leg to fall away from the midline. You may find that you want to take your block and place it underneath your thigh. If that feels a little bit more grounding and more secure. You do not have to touch the floor. Yep, beautiful. Touching the ground is not a requirement. Good. You can keep trying to point those toes towards the floor. Yes, external rotation, gorgeous. Yep, feels a little different in that hip. Beautiful. Let's do 2 deep breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Big inhale. And exhale. And then when you're ready, we'll take a nice big inhale. Bring the foot back up towards the sky. Go ahead and take one strap in each hand like reins. And we'll go ahead and rock out that foot from left to right. Maybe do big circles here. Notice any shifts that have happened in that hip, in that leg. Beautiful. Okay, option to stay here, or if you want to come into a twist, now be mindful of your body. Okay, if you've got something going on, you know what you got going on. So we're going to take this foot, we're going to come into stillness, and then go ahead and hold on to the strap just like we did with the right hand. This is the right index fingers through the strap. Then we're going to inhale here and then exhale. Allow that foot to cross all the way over into a twist. This might not feel good in your body. If you know this is just not where you want to go ahead and keep rocking that leg. Yeah. Good. Now you can go ahead and just flop over into this twist. So if you need to bend the knee, you need to adjust in any way, let it be more restorative. If that shoulder pops up, that's okay. Big breath here. Good. And when you're ready, we come up with a huge, big inhale. Use that inhale to come all the way back up, like a big force. There you go. And then go ahead and rock out that leg any way that feels good. Big circles, small circles, swishing from left to right. Yep. Yep. Good. And when you're ready, we're going to start to come into stillness here. Go ahead and remove the strap, but keep that foot up towards the sky. And then we're going to point the toe like a beautiful dancer and go ahead and let it come down, 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 down until it hovers about an inch off the ground. Then we're going to flex the foot. The toes will shine up towards the sky. Inhale, bring it all the way back up. Good. Point that foot. Slowly bring it down. Hover. Flex. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Last one. Slow down. Down, down, down. Point, 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 point. Hover, 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 hover. Hover, hover. Okay, and then release all the way out. Let both legs go long if that feels okay in that low back. And just notice the difference between right and left. That left leg probably feels about 2 inches longer than that right one. Good. All right, friends. Let's go ahead and take this on the other side. So we're going to take our strap over the ball of the right foot. Now your body's already prepped for this. We started on the left side. It's that non-driving leg, right? So we've kind of informed the right side of the body. So your brain's already ready for this. But you might feel a little bit different in this side. So just notice what comes up, if anything. Let's keep the straps gentle, loving, and kind with our body. Good, and then we'll start to swish that leg from left to right. Maybe we start in with our circles. You're gonna know right away what feels good here. And of course you can let that right leg go long left leg go long if it feels good to you in your low back. Good, and maybe you do big circles. And then maybe you reverse the circles. Beautiful. And then we'll start to bring it into stillness, bringing that foot right up into center. Go ahead and take the straps together. You're going to take that left index finger between the straps here in your little V that you've created. Go ahead and bring the right hand to the right hip. And this is just to tell this hip, hey, you're going to stay on the ground. It's okay if it lifts up a little bit, not a big deal. We'll take a nice big inhale, find the length in the back of the legs, and then exhale, go ahead and allow for that right leg to just cut ever so slightly through the midline. This will feel probably, if it's anything like how I'm experiencing it, like fire almost on the outside of my extended leg here. So that IT band that connects right all the way up from your hip, all the way into that knee space. I always joke that mine feel like guitar strings. And if I get it just right, wow. So just breathe here, big inhale. More sensation is to keep that foot flexed, less sensation is to point the toe. Good, last big inhale. And exhale, go ahead and bring that foot back up towards the sky. And we're going to swish out those hips. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring it back up into center. Let's find the straps together. This time we're going to take the right index finger through that little V we've created, and our left hand will come to the left hip. We're going to externally rotate that ankle, right? So we're kind of turning the foot out away. We'll inhale here, find some length, and then exhale. Maybe that foot comes out away from the midline. You can always take a block underneath the ankle of the foot. Just not maybe the knee if that doesn't feel good in your body. The foot never has to touch the ground. It's not a requirement. Keep trying to spin those toes down. Yeah, external rotation. Woo! Not often we get that in our working world either, right? I don't know how many times my body does that. I'll have to find a time. You can always take the gaze over the opposite shoulder too. You got it. Take 2 more big breaths here. And if you're shaken like me, that's just trauma releasing, just information. Last big inhale. And then we'll take a really big inhale and bring everything back up to center. You can take 1 strap in each hand and swish out that foot, or do your big circles. Good. Beautiful. And then option to stay here. Just moving that hip, moving that leg from left to right. The other option would be to come into that twist. If you want, you can bring the straps together. That left hand will take the straps. And this time we're going to let that foot fall all the way through the midline to cross the body. Maybe the foot comes down, maybe you even bend the knee. And take a stretch here. Maybe the gaze looks over opposite shoulder. Find what feels right in your body. When you're ready, come out of this with a nice big inhalation, bringing that foot back up to center. Good, and we'll go ahead and just release the strap. We're going to do the same thing we did on the other side, pointing that toe. Yep, allowing it to slowly come down. Eventually it's going to hover above the mat. Then we're going to flex the foot and bring that foot all the way back up. Good, and then point. Slowly, slowly all the way down. Flex. Inhale all the way up. Use that inhale as momentum. Use it as power. Use it as strength. Last one. Point. And slowly, slowly, slowly come down to hover, 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 and then go ahead and release. If this doesn't feel good on that low back, you can bring 2 blocks underneath, one underneath each thigh, and just take a breath here. So as you're here enjoying this sensation, let's talk about gratitude. So gratitude is one of those things, those feelings, when we bring it up and we intentionally look at it and we intentionally feel it, that as we're intentionally doing so and experiencing gratitude within our own system, that we literally cannot have room for duplicity. So we can't be angry and grateful. We can't be sad and grateful at the same time. We might be angry and then grateful, and it might, go back and forth between the two. So here, kind of think about that. And when you drop into gratitude, it's very comparison, I think, to bliss, to contentment, to being truly grateful. It's like it pushes out everything else and takes center stage. So with that, I invite you to find your blissful baby. So that's happy baby pose. Maybe you just come to bring the knees nice and wide and you hold on to the backs of the thighs here. This can be enough. This is gorgeous and totally enough, and this might feel restorative and gentle in your body. If you want to take it a step further, you could hold on to the ankles while drawing the knees in towards the underarms, or maybe you hold on to the outer edge of the foot, or yogi toe lock, peace fingers between the big toe and then the thumb on top. That's kind of nice and playful. And then from here, we're finding this energy of bliss. What does bliss feel like? And as we're here, we're just kind of rocking from side to side. Just finding that sensation. Maybe you close the eyes. Maybe you're looking up at the gorgeous sky above you with these leaves that are just turning with a hint of orange and brown and red. Transition. Honoring gratitude for all the gorgeousness that surrounds us each and every day. Maybe you're coming into stillness and taking a couple of breaths here. And then wherever you are, if you'd like to come into stillness and join us, you can. If you'd like to stay just rocking and enjoying that, that is an option as well. We're going to go ahead and just let the weight come onto the left side of the spine. So it's very subtle. It's just like a boop right over to the left. You're not kind of collapsing. You're just on the left side of your rib cage, left side of your spine. And then release that right foot. Wherever you're holding it, just release it. It's going to go long. Maybe the foot even comes to the mat. And then that right hand will take maybe the foot of the left foot or the back of the heel or wherever it can kind of go. And then from here, we're kind of in this lizard pose where this foot is still shining up towards the sky. And if you need to, you can always take a peek at me and see what I'm doing too. So. And then from here, maybe you're just kind of swishing those hips. I can tip my pelvis here, like cat pose. I can tip it so that I've almost picked up this right leg and it's kind of floating. So if you really tuck that pelvis, maybe you get this float going. Maybe it doesn't feel good. Wherever you are, you're either allowing that foot to be watery, loosey-goosey, wavy, or you are coming into stillness and just breathing here. Good. And then when you're ready, you're going to take a nice big inhale, come back up into your blissful baby. And once again, I invite you to find that idea, that feeling, that observation of what bliss would feel like in the body. Or maybe gratitude, if that's a little easier to get to. Good. And then when it serves you, you can stay here, rocking, enjoying this. Or maybe you allow for the weight to come over to the right side of that spine. You let that left leg fall through time and space. That left foot might touch the ground. That's okay. If it doesn't, that's okay too. And then go ahead and hold on to that right foot with both hands. And a few deep breaths here. Keep this restorative, keep it gentle, keep it loving. And then when you're ready, we'll take a nice big inhale and come all the way back up into our happy baby, blissful baby. Beautiful. Option to stay here in stillness, or maybe bring the legs long, right on, so the palms of the feet are up towards the sky for waterfall pose. And then maybe you just roll through the ankles and the toes. You could even bring your strap over the feet if that feels a little better for this. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll start to bring the knees back into the chest. I invite you to take any posture you feel like you need here. Maybe it's palms of the feet together, knees go wide. Maybe it's plow posture if that's in your practice. Maybe it's just a big morning stretch. Take whatever you need. It can be dynamic. It can be stillness. And then wherever you are, we'll slowly start to make our way into our final rest. We won't be here so long today because it is a little chilly. But we'll let those legs go out long. Maybe you take the blocks underneath the thighs here. That can be really nice. You can turn your block onto level 2 even if you need a little bit more lift. I know I always like a big lift underneath my thighs, and that kind of helps the hips to soften and relax and kind of integrate everything that we've done in our practice today. So it can be a nice ending posture. And then let's talk about our Shavasana. Before we drop in, let's reflect on our question for today. What part of myself have I struggled to accept? And how might I begin to hold it with gratitude for the way it has shaped me? And then I invite you to just, maybe you tuck the shoulder blades together, just like we did when we were in our supported bridge. You kind of pop the chest up and shimmy those shoulders under, and then maybe the palms of the hands are facing up towards the sky, taking up space. Yeah. And then just in this space to receive, and then shift into the observer of our body, the observer of our breath, the observer of our thoughts. And just be here noticing. Beginning to deepen the breath, returning back to the breath. Maybe begin to find gentle movement, wiggling the fingers and the toes. Just coming back into this waking world. Maybe you rock through the wrists and the ankles. Maybe you rock the head from left to right. And then maybe bring the arms overhead and you stretch like a child waking from their nap. Maybe you bring the knees into the chest and kick your props away like a little kid. Giving yourself a little bit of love here, a little bit of gratitude. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and find ourselves on our left hand side, if that's okay for your body. If not, right hand side's totally fine. Let that arm be a pillow for the head. Feel the earth rising up to meet you, sky above protecting you. Feeling safe and secure in this first position of life. And then when you're ready, slowly, mindfully, we'll start to find our way into whatever posture you need to journal or meditate today. I like to build a little table out of my blocks for my book. You may like to lay down and prop yourself up. You may decide that you'd like to just go right back into Shavasana and take a few moments for yourself. Or maybe you sit in easy pose and just meditate on your breath and the idea of our reflection question today. What part of myself have I struggled to accept, and how might I begin to hold it with gratitude for the way it has shaped me? finishing your sentence, know that this journal is here for you. And come back to this question at any time. Continue your exploration. And if we're just meditating on it, we're slowly just turning to our breath. With our hands stacked one on top of the next, right at heart center, sending some warmth here. Gratitude is such a powerful thing. Let's sit in that for a moment. Softly, maybe keeping the gaze soft or the eyes closed here. And just finding a bit of gratitude for yourself for showing up to the mat today, this practice, for being curious in your reflection question. Gratitude for your body, for the way that it serves you, the fact that it's been your friend the entire time that you've been on this earth, the relationship that you have, the ups and the downs, just gratitude. Gratitude for all the beauty that surrounds us each and every day, with very special thanks to our very own Lake Huntington. And I have so much gratitude for each and every one of you, for being here, being part of this gorgeous community, for trusting me to guide you through your practice. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am truly humbled. Om Shanti, Om Peace, and we bow.